Well, good morning. Good Wednesday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. I'm so glad that you've been able to join me for just a short while, maybe a few minutes this morning to sort of rekindle your faith and to look towards Sunday when you will be joining your Bible-believing fellow believers and be going to church with them. But today we're going to look at the final installment of the prodigal son. You remember that we talked about 2 weeks ago, we talked about the father who was a great example of a mature Christian. It was out of Luke 15, and we saw that he, while the son was a great distance off, that he saw him and he ran to him and he loved him and he threw his arms around him and he treated him with kindness, even though he didn't know what exactly the son had done. We have no reason to believe that he knew that the son had completely squandered the living that he had given him. We don't have any reason to believe that the son had sent a telegram ahead telling him that he was sorry. In fact, the son repents to him there in front of him. So this father, while the son was still a great way off, had compassion. That's the sign of a mature Christian, is one who it doesn't have to go our way all the time. It doesn't have to be to our liking all the time. We have great compassion and great love, even with those who we have a disagreement with. Then last week we saw an example in the elder son of an immature Christian. A Christian that wanted things his way. In fact, we didn't even hear him say that he loved his father. He said that he had done everything the father asked to do, that he had kept the rules, that he had done. But he never once said, "Father, I love you." That's an example of an immature Christian. It's an example of religiosity. It's an example of keeping the rules of church without ever embracing the truth of Christ. Today we're going to take a quick look, and it's going to be the final look at the servants. We're going to look at the servants, and today we're going to look at verses 22. This is Luke 15. Verses 22 through 27. 22 through 27. It says, "But the father said to his servants, 'Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to be merry. Now the elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound." And of course we know that the elder son is very angry about this. And he refuses to come in. He refuses to take any part. What my grandmother used to say, he showed himself. He showed himself. But what we're going to look at today are the servants. Because the servants are the observers in all of this. The servants are observers. They are watching, and they are watching carefully. They are watching the father as the father goes to his son and receives his son, gives him a fine robe, gives him a ring, has the fatted calf killed, and celebrates the fact that his lost son, his lost child, has come home. And then these same servants, we have every reason to believe they're the same servants because they know what's going on. these same servants then see the elder son show himself, be angry, not be happy that the lost child has come home. See, we all have observers in our life, and they are watching how we react to situations. Will we react in a mature way where we embrace, where we love, where we forgive, where we are generous, where we are compassionate, where we demonstrate the fruit of the Spirit? You remember Galatians 5, right? But they're watching also because they're also watching to see if we will be more like the world. Angry, upset, outbursts of wrath, criticizing. And these servants, these observers are watching. Often in our lives, these are the people on the outside or on the periphery, their family members or their friends or their co-workers who are watching to see, does the way you act, does the way I act measure up against the cross we see on the desk? Does the way we act, the way that we talk, does that measure up to the memes that they read on Facebook or on Instagram about loving Jesus? Does the way that we act or the way we react or the way we talk, does that measure up to the cross that we wear on a necklace around our neck? See, people are looking for what we are doing, right? What fruit are we bearing, right? If we are bearing the fruit of the Spirit and we are demonstrating Christ, these servants see it and they say, I want to know more about that. Because this was a difficult situation and he reacted in a very godly way. I want to know more about that. But if what they see instead is that we fall right in with the world, that we begin to criticize, we begin to tear down, we begin to have outbursts of wrath and demand our way, and, well, then they look and they say, well, there's no reason for me to know more about that, about Jesus, because if I know more about Jesus, all I'm going to find is these servants have demonstrated. So it's very important that we realize that we are either going to be a block that builds a foundation for the person watching, or we are going to be a stumbling block for the person. We are either going to give them a block that they put in the wall and they say, I now want to know more about this, or we are going to be a stumbling block and give them a reason to say, I don't want to know any more about this. The prodigal son story is an incredible story. It has so many interpretations. It has so many meanings in it. You could do many, many, many messages. But in this case, we wanted to look at the immature Christian, the elder son, the mature Christian, the father, and then those that we are impacting, the servants, the observers. Let's make it a pact in our life. Let's make it a rule in our life that we will demonstrate the fruit of the Spirit so that the servants, so that the observers that are watching us know what Jesus Christ looks like. See, you may be the only Bible someone ever reads. You may be the only Jesus they meet until they meet the real Jesus. And it's important that we remember that. I want you to be encouraged today because we are given that opportunity by God. God gives us that opportunity. We have the ability to lift people up or tear them down. We have the ability to help them feel hopeful or very depressed and unhopeful. We have the ability to help them smile or the ability to cause them to cry. God has given us that ability. I want you to be encouraged today because God has entrusted us with that. And I want you to go out today and find someone to help make smile. I love you. I know you love me. I pray for you. I know that you are praying for me. I pray for this nation. I pray for this world. I hope you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week and find yourself in a Bible-believing church on Sunday worshiping God. You have a great week.